Welcome back, guys. I'm finally back on the 1970s RD350 and we are finally finishing it, guys. So in today's video, we're going to be getting this thing started, finalizing a bunch of things like the swing arm and the seat. And for those of you that are new to the channel, I just want to show you guys that this is how the bike started its life. It was left abandoned in the woods, and I basically saved it from the scrapper. So guys, if you want to see this thing ripping, stay tuned. And let's go ahead and jump right into it. Well guys, a few videos ago I set up the rear suspension, and right now at the moment I really just don't like it. Part of that reason is just the bike sits too high, the suspension is too stiff, and also yeah, I'm gonna be reworking the geometry of the rear shock and installing this Grom rear shock, which is actually a lot shorter. So yeah, we gotta go ahead and take that swing arm off, cut it apart, and redo it. Basically, I'm copying the early 70s TZ250 rear suspension design where there's no linkages and the shock load goes into the frame. Very simple design, tried and true, although I'm going to be putting my own twist on it. Unfortunately, I am going to have to ruin my powder coat and move the suspension mount back a few inches. I don't know what I was thinking, but these are just some of the hurdles you experience, real life bike building, but it is what it is. Alright, so it's pretty tight over here, so before I weld it, I need to make sure the bolt comes out. And yes, it does come out. So that's good. Alright guys, so I got the Grom shock welded in and I redid my swing arm. Before I welded all of this, I did make sure that the suspension was to my liking. So check this out guys. With my weight on the bike, the suspension squats just a little bit, like half an inch, which is about right. Suspension basically feels just like my Grom, which is nice, and then we have that extra travel. If we do end up needing a stiffer suspension, they make aftermarket shocks for the Honda Groms that are a lot stiffer and also tunable. So also one thing to note with my suspension design is wanted to leave a bunch of room here so that even at max down travel or max droop, the tire won't touch this hoop right here. And also when building this swing arm, I did have to take the chain into account and make sure it doesn't rub this hoop. So yeah guys, I'm pretty content with that. I already welded this in, so I'm going to go ahead and take the swing arm off, weld it, and probably paint it. Alright guys, so this is my aluminum seat pan, and I think I'm going to be redoing this and just bringing this a little bit closer and making this a little bit more round and sleek to match the gas tank. Some of you did also point out that it doesn't match. You know, kind of just sitting on the bike, it'd be a lot more stable with me a little bit forward like this. And yeah, the foot peg position seems to be pretty good. And to get the cushion with the seat, I'm going to be using just an adhesive piece of foam, 1/2 inch thick. And then we also got to figure out a way to fit in a brake light. So I'm going to go ahead and cut this hump off and just see if I can build it better. I'm going to see if I can just ratchet strap this piece of aluminum and keep it round. It actually did work. Here it is, all ground down. So let me know which seat pan you prefer, this one or the one I had before. Not gonna lie, the one I had before definitely seems to be a lot more comfortable and less illegal, but we'll just have to figure out a way to mount the taillight and the license plate under the seat, or maybe figure out a solution like the new Husqvarna Vikortsen or whatever that bike's called. Here you can see I sanded it with 320 grit, and yeah, it took a few hours, but it just came out super nice, so I'm pretty pleased. Alright guys, so check that out. It looks so nice, and it even matches the tail right here, which is just perfect. And I'm thinking, you know, I want it to match the gas tank, but I don't know how I'm gonna recreate that rust and that color. So let me know what you think, guys. How would I make it match the gas tank? Also, we're going to have to reorder some foam because I kind of messed up cutting it. Didn't cut it straight. So if any of you have tips on how to cut this too, let me know. So yeah, I think it came out amazing. Alright guys, so we got my RD350 in the car, and the reason why it's in the car is because we're applying for a tag and title, and since I lost the title, well, the dude that sold it to me lost it years ago. I got to go through the process, get my VIN inspected by a police officer, and make sure it's all good. Fingers crossed we'll get the title and tag today. We'll just hope it goes well, and the tag will just give me more motivation to finish this thing, because I'll have a nice street legal platform. So yeah, I'll let you know how this goes. Alright guys, lady at the DMV was super cool. We were able to register this 1973 fully resto modded cafe racer, so shout out to Charlene. I think that's what her name was, but she didn't ask me any extra questions or anything like that, so that's good. Now guys, I'm going to focus on actually getting my engine running, and if you haven't seen the last video where I built this engine, I just want to give you a quick recap. So to sum up, we've got ported cylinders and we hogged them out to accept Banshee reeds. We're going to be running 35mm carbs. We've put an aftermarket crankshaft in there, which is a lot lighter by 3 pounds. And I've got this HPI CDI in here, which is going to delete the points. This R5 engine also had a 6-speed swap, which gives you taller gearing. Some people are saying with all these engine mods, I'm going to make my bike too peaky, and it's going to have too much top and power. And I actually prefer to have it peaky because this is a 2-stroke. And if I wanted something tamer, I would have bought a 4-stroke, guys. So to all of you that are afraid of the power band, just go ahead and buy a 4-stroke. This is a raw bike, so I do want that peaky power. All in all, you know, a stock RD350 has about 34 horsepower, and once you put pipes on it, it does go up to like in the 40s. You know, I've seen dyno tests. It's usually a 10 horsepower gain, and I didn't stop there, so we're gonna have like 50, 55 horsepower. We're doing a lot of high horsepower mods to this thing, so we need a clutch that can take the abuse. So what I have here is some Barnett heavy duty clutch springs, and then I ordered an FZR 1000 heavy duty clutch kit, which actually fits right into this RD350 clutch basket. As you can see, the FZR discs are that much thicker than the stock ones, and the reason why is because there is a rubber O-ring that goes in between them. I guess it's just to help with dampening, and it basically just minimizes the surface area. So with these, I'm gaining 30% more surface area, and with the Barnett springs, hopefully the clutch doesn't slip. Alright guys, so I have the clutch basket here. If you haven't seen the last video, basically I found out that the primary gear has some wobble to it, so I'll need to replace the rubber cushions inside. So the first thing we're going to do is go ahead and grind these rivets off, and then we can pry off at this back plate. Alright, so we got the plate off. So I kind of see what the problem was. Alright, so now we gotta tap these rivets out. We got the rivets out. The next step is gonna be to tap these to M6 by 1. And the holes are the perfect size, so you can just go ahead and start that tap. As you can see that over time these cushions do shrink. Here are the old ones and here are the new ones. You can see they're much bigger. Just going to eliminate that plate. So the O-ring will go on first. Then we're going to install the bushings. Then on goes the backing plate. Fat bead of red Loctite on the bolts. Apparently I do have to drill the holes bigger, so I'll be back. Alright, and that's the clutch basket all done. It's absolutely solid, but it will have cush to protect the transmission. So there is a concave washer and the bulge faces outwards. Alright guys, so I had my fiber plates soaking in here. I'm going to go ahead and install them. So next up is ball bearing and push rod. So I'm going to be deleting the oil injection system because I prefer to mix my oil. I know it's a little bit more inconvenient, but it gives me the peace of mind knowing that the oil pump can never fail because there is no oil pump. And you have to bleed them, which kind of sucks too. Alright guys, so I got the 35mm carbs installed. Next up, we got to install the HPI CDI and along with this charging coil. So I have my little piston stop right there. We measured 2mm before top dead center. And yeah, the thing is this CDI doesn't have a key slot in it, so it's just a press fit, and to adjust the timing, you just move this around. Alright guys, we got gas in it, and I'm going to go ahead and attempt to start it. Let's hope it works. Wow guys, I did not expect it to start that fast. Let's give it one more go. Dude, this is my best sounding two-stroke. The idle seems to be a bit low.